How's everybody doing today? It's the Michiganer CJ, and I'm here showing off my CZ Bren 2 MS. Now this thing right here is an excellent firearm, and as you can see, it probably doesn't look like the ones that you can buy at the store because I made quite a few modifications to it, and I'm definitely going to talk about that. So this right here would be like a perfect home defense weapon. It's 11-inch barrel. It's easy to maneuver through the house. You can fold it. So it could also be maybe a truck gun type of weapon as well, though a little large for what I would want to utilize as a truck gun for my personal preferences. So let's talk a little bit more about the specs. Let's open this bad boy back up. So this is a piston operated system. It's not a DI system. It's CZ's version of an AR, but it's super reliable. It has a side charging handle. And just to go over the specs of this, so like I said before, 11-inch barrel. The receiver is machined aluminum. The overall length from the factory when you first purchase the firearm, before you add any additions to it, is 22.8 inches. The weight is 5.14 ounces, so almost 6 pounds. The sights are photoluminescent flip-up front sights and rear sights. The trigger is approximately a 3.25 pound trigger pull, which is actually very nice, and actually I'll demonstrate that. This is a upgraded trigger, but it did not change the trigger weight. It comes with 2 of these beautiful CZ branded P mags, 30 round mags. And I'll go ahead and show you that it's empty. So take the magazine out. And then we're gonna go ahead and demonstrate. Now this is super smooth too, guys. I don't know if you guys can see down in there, but I can, and it's empty. So speaking of it, so it has this little mechanism inside the trigger guard which can be used to lock the bolt open or release the bolt. I'll demonstrate here. So to lock it open, you would apply upward pressure. To release the bolt, you would simply push down on this lever. So I think that's definitely very unique. And I also think with training, it could be very useful, and I do like being able to just pull the bolt back here. Pretend like this is a loaded magazine. Just put the magazine in, and then as I load it, just use my thumb to release the bolt catch. But the only downside to it is you are risking a negligent discharge if you don't train with it, because it's really easy to accidentally bump the trigger. So it would definitely require some training, I would say. All right, let's flip it back over. So before we get into the accessories that I added to this beautiful, beautiful firearm, by the way, I have put approximately 400-ish rounds through this, so it's not shot super extensive or anything. I mean, it is fairly new, but I haven't had any issues whatsoever. Super reliable, feeds all the ammo I put through it, and it's actually a soft shooter for a piston gun. It's actually a soft shooter in general. With this light weight of, 5 pounds, I mean, it's really light. It's really comfortable. I really like this weapon system. So start with telling you, well, let me see. Before we get into the accessories, let's talk about the trigger. So even though this is a HB Industries trigger, I'm going to demonstrate the trigger pull on it real quick. I guess we'll start here. So this is a HB Industries trigger. I bought this trigger off HB Industries website, and I believe it cost $46. And so what it changed from the factory trigger, it didn't change pull weight or anything like that. And it was definitely difficult to install. I did it myself because I don't think anybody at any of my local gun stores has ever had an experience installing these. And it looked kind of complicated. So I ordered a device from Amazon, and I sat and took my time and I did it myself. And it wasn't impossible. I don't think it was that hard. But it definitely took some focus. So, trigger pull. Here we go. So, a little bit of take up here. And then you hit a wall. Then just a nice smooth break, man. I mean, this thing has a nice trigger. Oops. Might as well demonstrate that bolt catch release again. All right. Reset. Take up, break. Man, that is a nice trigger. So the benefit to this trigger is the original trigger has some over travel. And with this piece right here, and the original trigger is polymer as well. But with this piece right here, which is metal, it stops the over travel. As you can see, it's touching right there. So no more over travel. It just breaks and resets. It's awesome. Definitely a great addition to any CZ Bren. All right, next, I guess we're going to talk about the rail. So the original rail feels good in hand. It's a little short. It's like super short. It's like it's before the three let's see, yeah, the piston system that you can see right here. This has 3 adjustable levels, but it used to come, the rail used to come where this piece would stick out, so it was pretty small. And as far as the adjustable levels on the piston system, I know one is, let me see if I can get that to focus on camera. There we go. One is like full gas, 2 is for suppression, and 0 is no gas. Just so you guys know. So back to the rail and why I upgraded it. So first off, this is a 7.8-inch M-LOK compatible rail that I bought from HB Industries, and it cost $184. So it's very pricey. The MSRP on the CZ Bren 2 MS is $17.99, and I bought this one on Gun Broker. Again, you know, as you guys can see in some of my previous videos, any gun that's rare or hard to find, I buy on Gun Broker. On Gun Broker, though, they're actually not priced too much over MSRP. I seen them for MSRP, and I see them for $18.50-ish for the 11-inch barrel variant, to about $21, $22. So that's about the price. I ordered this one. I think I got this one for $18.50 plus tax. So this HB Industries rail is super nice, though there are some issues with installation, which I didn't find out till I purchased it. So basically, you remove these 4 screws, and then the old rail, well, the old rail had a whole bunch of screws, but when you put this on, there's 4 screws which you use to mount this. Now, if you tighten down all 4 screws, this one is a QD mount which can go on either side, and this is the HB USA logo, which I have upside down. I just didn't feel like taking it off and switching it around. Maybe one day I will. But you have to torque these down to 45 foot-pounds of, I think it's foot-pounds. Yeah, so 45 or inch-pounds. And that's what it says in the manual anyway. So, but when you torque all 4 of these down to 45 inch-pounds, what happens is this, I don't know why, something goes on the inside where this bolt carrier group, which is super smooth right now, super smooth, buttery smooth, will start to bind up, and then you feel it, it'll like be gritty. It'll be like stuck and you have to put more pressure. And then it be, so that's an issue, and I have no idea why it's happening, and I've seen other people on the internet talk about it. So the way to solve that issue is very simple. So if you want to get one of these HB Industry rails, you would torque down these two on this side, which is the right side, the 45 foot-pounds, 45 inch-pounds, I'm sorry. And then on the left side, you would torque this front one down to 45 inch-pounds, but this back one, you would only torque to 30 inch-pounds. And then that'll allow the bolt carrier group to stay smooth. I don't know if that's an issue they have or if they're going to figure it out in the future, but just for anybody who's interested in putting on a different rail on their CZ Bren 2 MS, just wanted to let you guys know that. So off to the next modification. Also, before I get there, you'll see that I keep a lot of my firearms in the same configuration. I like the light on top. I like the Holosun. Which one is this? The 510C. Because it can see over the old light, so it doesn't interfere with the optic. And of course, it came with the backup sights. But I keep them in this configuration. I'm a minimalist when it comes to putting things on my rifles. I don't really like a lot of stuff. You know, I like it to be maneuverable and whatnot. I guess if I set up something for long range, I probably have a lot more, you know, different accessories. But back to it. So the next modification that we put on, well, we got a couple. I guess we'll start up front right here. This is simple. This is a Surefire War Comp. Sturdy. That's because I plan on getting into suppressors soon. So getting in the Surefire suppressor. So I wanted something in the SOCOM series where I can mount some of the SOCOM suppressors on. So, and this actually works very well. Though I need to get it adjusted. Right now it's adjusted for a right-hand shooter. I need to get the holes switched around to the left side so it's adjusted for me because I'm left-handed. Believe it or not, it's not wrong-handed. It's actually I just like to prefer to call it left-handed. So what else did I get? So as you can tell, this back part here, if you guys took the time to look up the CZ Bren 2 or know anything about it, it just comes with this piece. Now you can twist in a buffer tube and put like a SBA 3 brace on it. But I am a fan of folding mechanisms on my platforms just in case for easy transport or storage, or if I decide to utilize it in a bag or whatnot. Not that this would fit in just any bag, but it definitely could. Speaking of that, let me get an overall length of this. So well, actually, yeah, let's do that real quick. So see if I can get in the video. With the, you know, with the added accessories, it's going to be longer, of course. So this is 32 inches. We're going to fold it. Folded. It is 24 inches. All right, so one of the additions I added is right here. This is a SB tactical folder. It's not like a law tactical folder where like this is just made specifically for firearms that don't need the bolt carrier group to go into the buffer tube. Best way to describe it. This is $100. So, and it's also a little larger than an inch, or it adds a little bit more than an inch. It adds less than a law technical folder in size. So there's a particular reason why I went with this. Also, to tell you what else we have on here. This right here is a PWS, ratchet lock and castle nut and end plate. Yeah, it looks a bit awkward, but you know, this is what they had at the gun store. And this right here, I mean, sure, I can apply a QD mount to here, also QD mount here, and on the rail, QD mount here. Again, left-handed, but QD mount is also on the other side, so for a sling. And also on the SBA3, so lots of different places I can attach a sling. So here's my, oh yeah, also SBA3 brace. Here's my gripe about this gun, or not necessarily negative, but a gripe. So the trigger pull on a, you know, AR pistols type of firearm needs to be, I think, 13.5 inches or under in order for it to be not considered any other weapon, or however those things work. But I tried to get mine under 13.5 inches. That's where I ran into issues, because it has this long back piece here, right? You know, and the trigger's way over here. So just from trigger to here is 5.5 inches. So to get this thing down to 13.5 inches, see if I can demonstrate here. And this thing is really close, but it's almost exactly 13.5 inches. To get this thing down to this small, it was difficult. Like, there's lots of braces in different configurations that I could put on this that fold and that, you know, for what I wanted, but they all increase the length of pull more than 13.5 inches. Well, not all of them, but this one works. I end up getting the SBA3, which you know is adjustable, but mine's can't adjust past this point because I have the SBA3 limiters in here. It's just a little piece that you put up in there so that it takes away the notches so you can't pull it back. That way I'm keeping the length of pull where I want it. So that being said, what else? So other than the rail covers, which come from Amazon, I think that's about all the modifications I did. So what do I think about this platform? Well, I think it's super light. I love the ambi safeties, both sides, same size, ambi magazine release, right here, and right here. I guess we can call this an ambi bolt catch, even though, you know, it's unique, but technically still ambi. So everything's ambidextrous. This is good for left, right-handed people. What else? This charging handle can be switched from left to right side. You can put it on either side that you want. I just prefer it on this side because I like to reach up under, like so. Charge it. AK style. This is a polymer lower, but it's durable. I haven't had any issues. Like I said, this gun has been completely reliable. It's soft shooting, and it's light, and it folds. I mean, this is an amazing firearm. And with the piston driven system, I do personally feel like piston driven firearms are more reliable. In other words, I've had less issues out of them. And I feel like this is super reliable. This is a perfect home defense weapon. Small enough to maneuver around the house. It's even could be a good truck gun, though a little big for my personal preferences of a truck gun. So quite a bit of pros. There are a few cons. I mean, let me see where to start. Well, first off, I have ordered a HB Industries back piece right here, which you can attach a Picatinny to put on those type of braces or brace devices or folding devices. The only thing I didn't like about that is it requires a screw, which you have to remove every time you want to clean it. Though you probably don't have to clean it very often, still it's wear and tear, taking a screw out, putting a screw in, so I don't really like that much. So I like the original piece that it came with. That's why I chose to keep it this way. Let's go ahead and go to the cons, but there's not very many. Like this is very nice, and it's better in a lot of ways than your typical AR. Mostly the reliability and the compactness. But let's go over the few cons. So there are a few. Well, con number one. Con number one is you're stuck with this grip. I mean, it's a very thin grip. It's comfortable. It feels good to me, and I have large hands, but you're stuck with it. You know, there's no way to swap out this grip by itself. You know, it's so less, you know, you can't upgrade this as much as you can do a typical AR. So that's con one. Con two, let me see how I explain this. The way this weapon comes from the factory, it does work. It's reliable, there's no issues whatsoever. But to make it more modernized, you have to do upgrades to this. You have to add a SBA3, right? That costs money. If you want a folding mechanism, you gotta add that. If you want to change the muzzle device from the original flash hider, you have to add that. But as far as things that you have to actually add, a rail. You have to add a rail. The rail this thing comes with, quite frankly, sucks. It feels good in hand and it shoots just fine. But after like 130 round magazine with the original rail, that rail got almost too hot for me to hold. It was smoking, it was hot, it was terrible. But a free float rail like this one right here by HB Industries is perfect. Like, I was so worried about the heat that I felt when I first shot it that I had bought rail covers and everything for this rail. But this rail shoots fine, doesn't get hot or anything. I think that rail gets hot because it kind of touches the piston gas device. Like it touches the barrel, it seems like. But it gets hot really quick. So, and I didn't like that very much. And of course, you're not going to shoot a weapon system like this without any type of pistol brace or stock if you want to SBR it. So, you know, you got to add that. And all that stuff just costs money. The trigger, I mean, the regular polymer trigger was okay. But, you know, a metal trigger which reduces the over travel makes such a drastic difference in how the trigger pulls and feels and how fast you can shoot it. That for $46, and well, I'll just call it a little effort, it's definitely worth it. Though it's not, you know, not the funnest thing to put in my personal experience, but I'm not a gunsmith or anything. So if you add all that stuff together, you got a $1,800 MSRP firearm. You have a $114 to $120 SBA3. Got a $46 trigger. The war comp, that's extra because something I plan on doing, so I'm not going to count that. The tactical folder that I do have on here, which some people, I have a feeling most people are going to want to do because you can put a folder on it and still shoot it. Why not? That's $100. You know, I mean, this stuff just adds up. Not to mention the rail is $184. So you take all that on top of this original price and things start to get very pricey. So it's just like, it's like you can buy the firearm, not quite complete as I call it, and then complete it. But by the time you add all those accessories and stuff, then you're damn near at a Sig Virtus or something like that. But as far as reliability and stuff and everything, I mean, this thing is perfect. I'm not saying it's not worth it or worth the effort. Just make sure that if you're going to invest in this platform, that you do know that you will have to add upgrades to get it maybe how you want it. Other than that, one of the reasons why I added the Surefire War Comp is because I also happened to pick up a Surefire Warden. And this thing just goes over the top, ratchets on, and so just like the suppressors do. So let's see if I can demonstrate this while on camera. And once you get it on, you just ratchet it down like so. And there you go. That's exactly how the suppressors ratchet on too. Now this thing is awesome. So if you're like shooting next to someone, or depending on what your job is, it shoots all that muzzle blast and fire and some of the sound actually downrange. So it's actually a very nice device, and I think the Warden costs like around 200, and the War Comp's around 150. I'm a big fan of Surefire products, so definitely was interested in picking that up. So for today's video, that's all I really had. I love the firearm, love the way it shoots. I think the recoil is soft. Do I think it's better than your typical AR platform? Honestly, with the piston system and stuff, yes, I do. Is it as modular? You know, can you replace as many parts as you can on a typical AR-15? No, you can't. But I mean, this is an excellent weapon. It's reliable. I mean, I feel like you know it's going to work. You also have the capability to make it smaller if need be. There's many different ways you can do that, but the way I chose was, you know, the SB Tactical folding mechanism and the SBA3. This could be a truck gun. This could be a travel gun. It's not huge. Though I do prefer smaller firearms, like for example, Sig Rattler, but you know, there's a video on this coming up later. This is probably would be mostly utilized for home defense, at least in my house. If there's any other questions or anything you guys want to know, please feel free to ask me. Also, please subscribe. I'm trying to build up my subscribers. That's what motivates me to make more videos. And if there's any other firearms that you guys want to see reviews on, I would also like to hear your input on that. So thank you again. This is the Mr. Gunner CJ, signing off.